Welcome, 5th and 6th graders. It is Science Today, Friday. I'm glad you made it with us. I've got Mrs. Fanua with me here. We're going to go over some little bit difficult stuff to learn, so make sure you're paying attention. If you don't understand any of this stuff, remember you can pause the video, you can go back, you can rewatch it, you can rewind it. That's kind of the cool thing about YouTube is we can watch as many times as we need. And they may need to watch it more than once, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of challenging stuff today. Our focus today is on heredity. Why do we have the traits that we have? Why do we look the way that we do? Mason, why do you look different than me? We're all just different because that's the way we're born. That's the way that our genes, that's I guess the cards that we were dealt. Okay, so we have 2 assignments today. Our first assignment is we're going to be creating a minion. I'm going to explain that. Our next assignment is we're going to look at the Punnett square. Mrs. Fanua is going to go over some definitions and explain that for us. So, Minion Maker. On Minion Maker, this is an activity. You can do this with your family if they want to join you, or you can do it on your own. It doesn't matter, but have some fun with it. Basically, what you're going to do is follow the instructions. First, it says you're going to draw a blank body. You can use this paper or a different one. It doesn't matter. After you draw a body, you're going to take a die. You'll roll the die. Depending on what you get on the die is what you're going to add to your person. So I just roll a 3, which means I get to add 3 eyes or a mustache or spiked pink. I can add pink to my minion. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to roll each time, once for the goggles, once for the mouth, once for the hair, and once for the colors. You're actually going to put only one of those things. So I draw the body, I roll the die. Goggles, it's a 6. I get to choose. I'm going to choose one of those. Then I roll for the mouth. Okay, I roll a 2. He's going to be an angry minion. Then I roll for the hair. I roll 4. He's going to have a mohawk. He's going to look pretty sweet, this guy. And then I roll one more time, and I roll a 1, and he's going to be yellow. Now, Mrs. Cassie, we forgot to put her on Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, we'll try to get Cassie and Monique on Zoom next time. That was an oversight. Mrs. Cassie created a minion. I know it's not in color. I think it was yellow and all these fun colors. But this is the one that she created based on this game. Okay, so have some fun with it. Enjoy it. If you don't understand, reach out and we'll get you some help.
Be creative.
Be creative.
Okay. All right. So we are going to work on the next part is the Punnett square. Okay, so that's the worksheet that you got. And so we're going to go over some vocabulary first. So first you need to know what a genotype is. Okay, so a genotype is the gene for one trait. Okay, so the symbols for the genotype are 2 capitals, 2 PPs, or a capital P, a lowercase p, or the 2 lowercase p's. And that's the gene. The phenotype is the physical appearance. So say the genotype was 2 PPs, a pure dominant, the phenotype would be purple. Okay? So, for example, here's the symbols that you use. Genotypes, you've got 3 different types. Okay, so you've got the 2 capital P's, which represent a pure dominant. Okay, so that means if you cross 2 dominants with each other, they're going to dominate you. They're all going to be purple. Okay, if another genotype is the capital P, lowercase p, which is a hybrid, meaning it's a mixed dominant and a recessive. Okay, and then you've got the 2 small p's, which is a pure recessive. Okay, and they represent a pure recessive trait. Okay,
So when you're talking
and then
about...
they would be white.
Can I interrupt you for
Yeah.
just a minute? When you're talking about traits, what are you talking about? Are you talking like the way that my ears look and the way that my nose looks? Or...
Yeah, your genetics. So your eye color, your hair color, your earlobes, the shape of your nose, all that stuff. You have a gene for each one. You have a gene for your eye color. You have a gene for your earlobes if they're attached or they're Unattached.
So kind of like this minion. We just created a minion on that last assignment. That minion has features, and we have features, right? So my genotype is the features that make up who I am.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And you don't know what you have because it was a roll of the dice when you were born, because you have two parents. These are your two parents. They're represented as your two parents, your mom, your dad. Okay, you were given one from your mom, one from your dad. So you don't know unless you start having children of yourself or you get tested. So I have a brown eyes, which means I could be a pure dominant or I could be a hybrid, but I cannot be a pure recessive. Mr. Bauer, however, is a pure recessive because he has blue eyes or green. Okay?
So
green eyes, he has two recessive genes. He does not carry any of the dominant genes. So a capital.
and how do I know that brown is dominant and green is recessive?
Because they told us in science.
Okay,
That's just that.
so
It's
you
that
know.
way.
So when she went over these things, so large letters means that it is dominant. Okay, you're on your sheet. You're gonna see something that's called homozygous dominant. Homozygous means that it is uppercase, two uppercase letters. It is pure. Okay, both of them are. That's why we have pure here, but both of them are uppercase. This is not homozygous dominant because this is recessive, right?
But it is homozygous recessive. So this is homozygous pure dominant. This is homozygous pure recessive because you carry both genes. Two recessive genes, which Mr. Bauer carries, and I have a possibility of carrying the two dominant. But I could be a hybrid as well. I could be a dominant
word
and a
for
recessive.
this one here?
Hybrid is heterozygous. So heterozygous is the hybrid. That's a mix of the two. Homozygous is your purebred, meaning pure dominant or pure recessive. Hybrid, heterozygous.
Okay, real quick. So genotype is my traits.
Yep.
Phenotype is like the color.
The
of my
color.
traits.
So the gene would be your eye, your ear. The phenotype would be brown or blue or attached or hanging earlobes.
Okay, I think we got it. You got it?
I think I got it.
I'm feeling it. Okay, so let's go over some examples. Should we erase this and put it?
Well, let's go over this first real quick.
Okay.
So you on your worksheet, you have purple flowers are dominant to white flowers. So you've got the two PPs right here, okay? So it's asking you, are they dominant purple flowers or are they white? What is it asking?
It's asking what color is that going to be. So two P's, what color? And it tells us that dominant is purple and recessive is white.
So dominant is purple and recessive is white, correct? So if someone had two PPs, they're dominant, so what would be their color?
Has to be purple
Has to be
because
purple.
they have no recessive gene.
Correct.
Recessive is white and dominant
Correct.
is purple.
So you would put on your two capital P's, it's a pure dominant, so they're purple. So you'd put purple. On the hybrid, capital P and the lowercase p, it's a hybrid. So again, what color is that going to be? Because it has a dominant color in there, doesn't matter if you carry a recessive, the dominant overrides it, so they are purple. So your answer on your worksheet would be purple.
So even though I have some white, a chance of white, I'm going to be purple because
Correct.
my dominant gene says I have to be purple.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Then the last one, you've got the two little p's. So obviously you're pure recessive, you have the two little p's, you are white. Okay, so you have white. Okay, you can't carry anything else. So this is what it would kind of look like, and I'm just going to give you an example. So if I took a pure dominant parent, you'd split them up like this over your Punnett chart, okay? And then if I took a hybrid parent, they carried the dominant gene and the recessive gene, this is how you're going to have your kids. So you're rolling the dice, and it's a roll of the dice every time. It's not a guarantee, like once I get, anyways. That's hard to explain to these kids.
These guys, 5th and 6th graders, you should know this from math. This is our box method. We've done this a lot, okay? So P times P is two uppercase P's, they're both dominant. P times P is two uppercase P's, they're both dominant. This one down here, I have lowercase p and uppercase p, so I have one of each.
And the dominant always goes first.
Because it's uppercase. And then same thing over here, I have dominant and recessive. Now, because we love math, I'm going to erase some of this. What we can do is we can then find percentages. So in this case, I have 50% that's going to be homozygous dominant. And then I have 50% that's going to be a hybrid heterozygous, which is right here. I can calculate the percentages just because I know how to do math and I've been in Mr. Bauer's class all year long. So this should be actually pretty easy at this point. Let's go over a couple of quick examples. Real life stuff. Oh shoot, we got a little present on the paper.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so we brought some real life examples for you. I've got some friends inside here. Okay, right here we've got 3 of our mallard ducks. Okay, if I'm looking at ducks and I'm trying to find out what kind of ducks I'm going to have, I can do that with the Punnett square that we just created a minute ago. So I know that these are mallard ducks. I know that Dad was a mallard, dominant. Mom was a mallard, dominant, meaning that they're going to be dominant. Let's say dominant is the mallard breed. Recessive would be another kind. But because these are purebred dominant mallards, I would have MM, 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 MM. I'm going to have a 100% chance of getting a mallard duck when I put 2 mallard ducks together. Now, if I wanted to change that, let's say instead of 2 mallard ducks, maybe I put a mallard that was bred with harlequin. We'll call a harlequin a recessive. Now what I have is mallard harlequins over here. I have a 50% chance of getting a purebred mallard, 50% chance of getting a hybrid harlequin mallard. Okay? Anything you want to add to that?
Nope, that's great.
Okay, let's look at one more example. Let's get these guys out of here.
Bye-bye, guys.
Oh, they're getting huge, by the way.
They are huge.
Okay, we might
Thank
have
you.
to ask my son to help a little bit with this one because
All right.
bring the camera a little closer. Trying to make this quick so the video doesn't go forever. All right, Makai, you want to grab the... What we have here is we've got a couple of lizards. Okay, we're going to look at... I've got one son that's been to our classroom a lot. The other son, he's a little bit older. He's got a little lizard breeding business that he runs. Part of his business, he has to figure out what kind of babies he wants to breed because some are worth more than others, some are fancier than others. With a little bit of science, he can actually calculate the types of lizards that he'll get. Okay, so let's look at our chart real quick. Up in front of us, we have, this one is called a leatherback. If you look at his skin, he's got little bumps on it. It's the type of skin that he has. This one, this red one, is called a dunner, okay? His spikes are not the same. They kind of are more sporadic. They're like a messy hairdo when you wake up in the morning. They're kind of just all over the place. So if I look at the chart, if my son is getting ready to breed bearded dragons, what he does is he breeds a leatherback, and leatherback's recessive or dominant? Okay, leatherback is our dominant trait. I think it's actually recessive. Science tells you if you need to know which is recessive and which is dominant. But I think in this case, leatherback is recessive. Okay, he's a recessive leatherback, the white one. The red one is a dunner. He's a recessive dunner. Okay, they're both recessive. Now, when I do the math on here, I can have a dunner leatherback, a dunner leatherback, a dunner leatherback, or a dunner leatherback. No matter what, I'm going to get the small d and the small l. This is what Heredity's telling me I'm going to get. So if he breeds these, he's going to have a mix of those two. DL, this would be pure recessive heterozygous, homozygous. This would be a pure recessive homozygous. Okay, let me show you a couple more real quick.
He's staring. Ooh. I like that white one.
That white one, by the way, is called a zero. He is pretty hard to get. The only way to get a zero that looks like that is you would have to breed
it.
two white ones together.
Yep.
They're kind of rare. He paid a lot of money for that one, and he does have another white one at home. He wants to breed those.
So the only way you can get a purebred white one is you have to have, like Mr. Bauer said, you have to breed it with another one to for sure.
Same thing with these guys. I've got two more. One's a leatherback, one's a normal scaled. This yellow one right here is a normal scaled. Normal is dominant trait. That's what they usually come out of. If you look at his, go ahead and bring his close up, you can see his spikes. This is what a typical normal scaled bearded dragon would look like. He's yellow, so it has some citrus color to him. He's got blue bars. There's all sorts of heredity traits that he carries that we could talk about, but we're only going to talk about their scales. He's normal scale, whereas the other guy, and this guy's huge, so let me get the...
Oh. He made a leap for it.
Okay, the other guy, the other guy is what's called a German giant. This is the biggest of the bearded dragon breed, okay? But he's a leatherback. So if I want to breed those two together, and I can do the math on it, right? I can say leatherback's recessive, the normal is dominant. I would have a normal leatherback. No matter what I do with these two lizards, Stacy, I'm going to get a normal leatherback because that's what science tells me I'm going to get. Okay? Hopefully that allows you to understand the Punnett square just a little bit. Let me show you one last thing before we go, just for some fun. I know the video is probably too long, but...
Oh, yeah. Should we get them all?
They got to eat one at a time. Let me show you guys some...
Only some of them can be together because the big ones will eat the left.
All right, here we go. Here's in case you want to see these guys eat. They're pretty interesting dudes.
Oh.
They just eat them up.
Yikes!
Got to have a little fun with our science this morning. These are doobie roaches. They can't live in our climate. If they get out, they'll just turn over and die. Kind of like a pill bug.
Oh, really?
Okay, well, you got anything else?
Interesting. No, that was great. Thanks, Mr. Bauer, for bringing in those lizards and the ducks. That was
Show and tell today.
Great.
Okay, hey, have a wonderful day, guys.
You guys, see ya.